Welcome back to the Heal and Restore podcast with your host, me, Randy, and of course, once again, the ever lovely hostess with the mostest, Miss Cathy Boyd.
Oh, thank you, honey.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're so glad you're here with us again today.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are hanging in there with us.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. We're dedicated to helping couples and individuals strengthen their relationships through healing, growth, and honest conversation. Honest conversation.
Yeah,
we dive deep into topics like communication, which is probably the most important part of marriage. Communication, forgiveness, intimacy, family, and emotional connection. Because healthy love starts with a healed heart.
Yes.
Tune in each week and take the next step toward restoring what matters most.
Yeah, that's so good. So today's episode, it's one that's kind of close to our heart. It's something we've experienced. Yeah. And so we're calling this episode Bridging the Gap. It's Reconnecting When You've Grown Apart.
And that inevitably seems like it happens in almost every relationship and marriage. Yeah. And that's just part of it. That's part of growth.
It's part of the growth. Right, yeah, definitely part of the growth.
So let's be honest. Every marriage goes through seasons where closeness feels out of reach. Mm-hmm. And even today, there's times when I'll go to Cathy, what's going on? I feel like there's some pull
kind of a disconnect.
Kind of a disconnect. And it's nothing. It's just part of the relationship, right? I mean, whether you've been married together for 6 months or 42 years like us, it's going to happen, right? Yeah. Cathy and I have walked through it ourselves many times. I remember a season in our marriage where we felt more like roommates than partners. Yeah. And again, I think that happens in marriages because we both get busy building our careers, and then the kids come into play.
Yeah.
Right? And it happens, but we know how to stop that.
Yeah.
When we weren't fighting, but we weren't laughing together much either.
No.
We were just managing life.
Yeah.
And again, I want you to understand this. That doesn't mean the marriage is over. That means that you guys are married or it's in a serious relationship and you're living life to the fullest extent, right? So don't take it as, oh, this marriage is over, because it's not.
No, and that's right. And if you're listening and thinking that's us right now, just know that you're not alone. Mm-hmm. Emotional distance is normal at times, and what matters most is that what you do about it. And we've seen many of our couples and that's one of the reasons they've come to us, is they feel like they're doing okay, but they feel distant. They feel like they're just roommates. And so that's what we work with is a lot on couples, because we all go through that season. So if you're feeling like you're just a roommate right now and your emotional distance is disconnected, reach out to us at Heal and Restore Counseling.
Yeah.
And let us journey with you. We can, set up a 1 hour no cost discovery session.
Right, exactly.
And be able to just sit down and talk.
Because it's really important to know that it's just all part of life and being married or being involved in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. We're two different human beings. We have two different, there's a lot of things that are different. So, but again, I want to stress, it doesn't mean the marriage is over.
No.
It means that you're having a very successful life. And at those times, like I used to tell Cathy, we can't let the candle burn out.
No.
It can flicker. Let's keep that flicker going, because if that flicker goes away, then we're done with it.
Right. No, that's good.
So just don't give up because things seem like, man, we're growing apart. No, you're just living life.
You're living life, and there's going to be obstacles in life. This is how we grow through them. So let's talk about what the signs of emotional drift might look like.
Absolutely. So let's start by recognizing the signs of emotional drift, because often you don't notice you're growing apart until it feels like a big gap.
Big gap. There's a wedge.
There's a huge wedge, right? And we can't change what we are not aware of either. So again, awareness, Cathy's taught me this a long time ago. Awareness and intentionality are two things that we must always think about.
Right.
We must become aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Recognize things.
We're hoping that this podcast will give you some of the tools that you can recognize. Well, we're not growing apart. It's just life.
Right.
Right.
It's life, but we need to recognize when we feel like we're growing apart. And so that one of the first signs of an emotional drift is what we can call the roommate syndrome. And that's when you're just living in the same house, but you feel more like business partners than a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And, you handle the chores, the kids, you're going on your busy schedules, work, etc. But there's very little affection or intentional connection. And so we've experienced that. I mean, when our kids were younger, they were very much involved in sports. We both had full-time careers. You had a business you were running. We had kids running in all directions. We were doing sports, after-school activities, all of these things. And then as our kids, and we thought, okay, phew, we're through with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of got back out of that roommate syndrome and kind of reconnected with each other. But then other things came up. My dad got sick and his health started failing. So that kind of took a little bit of my time and my focus away as well. So there's going to be things that happen in our life that are going to create that roommate syndrome. It's not bad that it's created. What's bad is if we stay stuck in it. So we have to identify it.
And I'm gonna say this right here. You hear me say it a lot. Husbands and wives, or partners, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Your most important ministry in your life is your family.
Right.
That means husbands, it's your wives first, and then your children, and wives, it's your husbands first, and then your children. Okay. So as we grow, early on we might be climbing corporate ladders, or we're just trying to make things where we're trying to meet some of our goals. That's just part of what we do.
Yeah.
Right. We still have to make time for each other. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we do still have to make some time for each other. Mm-hmm. Then the kids come in. Right. It's like, oh man, now we got not one kid playing sports. Now we got two. Now we got three kids playing. How are we going to do this? Right. Again, that's part of being parents and part of being married.
Right.
Accept it. It doesn't mean you guys don't fight it.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is you and your partner or spouse, you're going to be pulled separate ways, especially if you got more than one kid.
Yeah.
Right. And so at some point in time during the evening, Cathy and I, we always came back together somewhere along the line. Mm-hmm. And it might be, stopping for a quick, let's get something to take home for dinner. We sit down at the dinner table really quick. We eat. There's even nights we just told the kids go jump in the pool and get clean, right? Right. And then by the time, and then by the time we get in bed, we're like, man, I got nothing left.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
And so that's normal.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't realize, Cathy didn't realize it then. But then the other thing is when Cathy's father became ill, right? That's where I, as Cathy's husband, or even if it was vice versa, Cathy as a wife, that's where I have to take a stand back and let Cathy. I got to support Cathy through all this, right? I got to support her, but I got to stand back and let her take care of the family, right? I'm going to make her number one right then, right? Yeah. Do I still have to work? I still have to work, right? Do I have to help Cathy make decisions when she wants me to? Absolutely, I had to help her make decisions. But my number one job at that point in time was to make sure the kids were taken care of. Just take that off the table because Cathy worked, right? Yeah. And then make sure that Cathy's doing emotionally okay during this period of time. Just being there for her was all I had to do.
Right.
I had to get out of myself. Period. Mm-hmm. And that's what we do as husbands and wives.
Yeah. So that roommate syndrome might look different for everybody.
And believe me, we went through it.
Yeah, we got to be back intentional. So, what's another sign of emotional drift?
The loss of laughter. Yeah, right. I remember how
much fun. That's really sad when that happens.
Remember how much fun you used to have when you were dating.
Yeah.
Like coming back from Idaho, saying the roads got washed out, it's like take another day off of work. Yeah. And then stopping at Lake Mead with a 6-pack of Lowenbrow Light, and you dumped the whole thing over me.
Yeah, we used to have so much. That was all before kids.
It was all before kids, but right. It's that that laughter and the fun that we have when we were dating, right? Going to the doodah parade, that goofy thing, right? If humor and lightheartedness have disappeared, it's a warning sign, a warning light on the dashboard of your marriage.
Yeah.
So if that happens, it's time maybe just to take a time out and say, hey, wife, partner, husband, partner, let's sit down and talk. Let's get reconnected.
We need to do something fun again.
We
need to get silly.
And Cathy, God bless her heart, she does these stupid things, right? And we're driving down the road, and she'll look at me. I'm whining about who knows what. I'm bad, whatever. I'm bad mood or whatever. And she goes, turns like this.
Give me a 1 minute smile.
And I go, no, I'm not doing it. And she'd keep up.
Yeah.
And pretty soon I couldn't smile, but I was cracking up laughing because of her 1 minute smile. So
those emotional drifts are real, and so we have to get back to
just recognize it. It
recognize
doesn't mean, and even if like you and your spouse or partner are having an argument, it doesn't mean the marriage is over.
Yeah,
no. I mean, you have disagreements.
No. We're gonna hear this over and over again. And the other thing that we need to watch for when we feel like an emotional drift is happening is be aware. Are we having shallow conversations?
Yeah.
When all we talk about are the kids, the bills, the work, and we don't talk anything about our dreams. We don't talk about our feelings, things that are going on inside of us. What's happening in my heart, that is going to be a red flag. So if you feel like you are having shallow conversations, you need to reevaluate, are we in an emotional drift? Just recognize it.
Exactly. And something Cathy and I both have to learn to do. If you can't talk with your partner or spouse in an open and honest manner about your heart, about how you're feeling. I couldn't do that because of my past trauma.
I struggled with it as well.
And then what it ended up doing, because I shut down, and because the only way I knew how to communicate was by getting loud, and angry, right?
Yeah.
This actually was repressed anger. That shut Cathy down. Right. So we have to learn how to communicate in a proper, loving way. Again, that communication is so key in a healthy marriage.
Yeah, but those shallow conversations, that's going to be your red flag as well.
Yeah, and the reason the shallow conversations is because we never learn how to converse to begin with.
Well, no, I totally understand that, but these are the things we want to be watching for.
Right, exactly.
So, it's we all experience them.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Thank God we don't anymore.
Yeah.
She just hits me upside the head with a pot when I'm not listening to her. So no,
if it were that easy.
Remember this: these aren't signs of doom or gloom. They're simply signals. Yeah. All right, that's all they are. So
that's really good.
And if you can name them, you can address them. Again, we can't change what we're not aware of. Yeah. So this is another time for self-reflection. Yeah. What's going on within me? Right. Both partners.
How am I feeling?
How am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Say both partners need to do this, and then they need to be able to come back and have a healthy, mature conversation about what's going on.
Right. No, that's really good. I love that.
One of our favorites when it comes to dating, right? I think we're talking about,
Did you lose your mind for a minute?
I lost my mind for a minute.
Come back to me.
Okay, I come back to space. I've been tired the last few days.
Yeah, you have.
I don't know what's going on. So now let's talk about some small daily habits that can rebuild closeness.
Yeah, no, that's great. So it's true. We can rebuild. So the good news is rebuilding closeness doesn't always require big dramatic gestures. You don't have to go out and spend thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars on something, but more often it's just about daily small habits. Those daily small habits make the biggest difference.
Yes, I'm realizing now that I always wanted to make them like big grandiose type things, right? I mean, going out to a nice dinner is always nice.
That's nice, yeah. But you were like jewelry and you were making it for a lot of small things.
For a lot of things, right?
But when we're trying to rebuild on things that have caused our emotional drift, they don't have to be big.
No,
they just have to be intentional.
No, so like for instance, one of our favorite dates, one of them today, is just a coffee date, right, or an ice cream date, right? Even if it's just 15 minutes together in the morning with a cup of coffee. Right, with Cathy and I sitting at the counter or sitting on the couch, it can set the tone for connection throughout the day.
Yeah, sometimes I'll randomly say, "Let's go. We're going to go for a drive. We'll go get an ice cream."
Right.
You know?
Yeah. She has to trick me into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Healthy Eater over here.
Right. One of the things Cathy and I did early on is we would do grocery shopping together, right?
Yeah.
And I always had a blast with her. Well, plus I like I like watching her walk in her dolphin shorts in front of me down the
we're
aisle.
aging ourselves
well,
there.
but those are still today,
yeah.
right? They're still one of our mainstays for a date. We go shopping together.
And I think one of the things this sort of kind of reminds me of, as you talked about what we used to do, is remembering a lot of times we get away from the things that we used to do that create some of the, I don't want to say bad habits, but they don't create the healthy habits. So if you have had things in your past when you first started dating or when you first got married, or go back to reflect back on what was working, because sometimes it's those small little things that make that big difference. And going back to some of those small habits that you used to do that were fun and outgoing and that created the connection is what you need to do today.
It's like with our couples today. They do really good, really good. They'll go through the entire 12 weeks with us. They go into maintenance. They're doing good. And then things happen.
Yep.
Not intentionally, but life happens. And maybe they drop off for a month or two because of life just happens. They don't want to. They want to keep coming, right? And then they start struggling again. And that's what we always do. We take them back. Okay, what was working when things were going good, right? Yep. It's the same thing we're talking about, right? Okay, this, and this. Perfect. Right. What are you not doing now?
Yeah.
None of them.
What are you not doing now that you need to get back to doing?
And generally, it's like they're not doing the empty the jug, or they're not. There's different things that they're not reading. Yeah, they're not connecting, right?
Yeah, they're not having their little dates.
So it's always what. It doesn't matter if it was 42 years ago. Yeah. For us,
we still have to.
We still have to be intentional. Yeah. Right? I mean, it was even like when we first got married, going to the laundromat together.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. We had fun doing that, right? I mean,
we did.
Yeah, we did. So remember to bring back the laughter and joy into your marriage or relationship. You met, you married, or got deeply involved in a long-term relationship with your partner. Yeah. For a reason. Yeah. Don't forget that reason. No. Right? Don't. And if things are changing, self-reflection.
Absolutely. Be the key, right? Yeah. The other thing that it's good to do is to get into some daily habits is just doing these little text check-ins. Yeah. Now, when we first got married, there was no such thing as cell phones, so we didn't do that. But when technology came around and texting became available through our cell phones, Randy would always text me. He was always really good about it. It could be a simple message like, I'm thinking about you, or I hope your meeting goes well, enjoy your lunch today. And what that does is it tells your spouse or your partner that they're on your mind. Wow. And so because Randy was always good at that, it always truly made me feel valued. It made me feel desired, and it made me feel connected, even though he wasn't in my presence. Right. That little, hey, hope you're having a great day, or I love you, or even like we've talked about this before, he would boil my hard-boiled eggs and leave me these little love notes on my hard-boiled eggs so I'd see them when I got to work. That was a way that I felt valued, desired, and truly connected to you, because I knew you were thinking about me before I left the house that morning.
Correct. Yeah. Right. So. And if I knew she was really busy at work too, I would text her, say, hey, you want me to bring you lunch? Yeah. Just little things like that. Not, I didn't ever just show up there because she had clients and stuff that couldn't go, but I would say, I'm going to stop.
It's just about being connected, finding ways to connect again.
Yeah. It's, look at, Cathy and I have been married 42 years. I'm 68. She's 63.
Good answer. I keep forgetting what my age is. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me.
We're still kids at heart, and we can still be kids at heart. Just because we've been married 42 years and in our 60s doesn't mean we can't have that kid's love for each other.
No, not at all.
I mean,
still very much
that's
there.
A wrong attitude to have. Yeah. Right.
It's still very much.
Even Jesus says, come before me as children.
Yeah. Right. That's good.
So, and Cathy really helps me to do that because of the trauma I had in my life. It's real hard for me sometimes to be that little kid.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, we're going to pull that out of you sometimes. So.
Yes. So.
Another one.
Yeah. And do not underestimate bedtime connection rituals.
Yeah, I love this.
This doesn't always mean bedtime sex.
Right.
Okay, let's get that right on the table.
That's a byproduct.
Yeah, it's a byproduct, right? Whether it's praying together, right? Sharing one thing you appreciated about each other that day, right? Or just holding hands before sleep. Those small practices build intimacy over time. Oftentimes, Cathy and I will be laying there, and I usually fall asleep way before she does, but a lot of times I'll reach over. Always, yeah. Not usually, always. I'll reach over and I'll grab her hand, right, as I'm laying there with her before I fall asleep.
Yeah.
It's just that touch,
that
right?
connection again, yeah.
And the other thing that you can do, you can get these online. They have all these types of relationship cards you can get. And we got a couple different sets of them. And we'll pull those out once in a while. We'll say, hey, let's just ask these questions. And we'll take about, I don't know, maybe 20 cards or 15 cards. And then we'll just each grab one card and we'll ask questions and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, opens up the dialogue.
It opens up the dialogue, yeah. So there's things you can find to do before you go to bed. Again, we're busy, we're working hard, we might be parents. Just even if it's 10 minutes.
Take that time.
Take that time for your partner, your spouse.
Yeah. And the key in all of this, in anything we're doing, any type of growth or change that we're chasing after, that we're desiring, it has to be consistent. We have to be consistent with it. And remember, it's not always about perfection, but it's about choosing connection in the everyday moments. And so life is busy. We keep talking about that. The world is in chaos. But make a choice to connect to your partner or your spouse every single day.
Right. And remember, it's moments.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be all day long.
No.
I know Cathy loves me. I know Cathy's going to be there for me. Right?
Yeah.
She knows I love her. I'm going to protect her, and I'm going to be there for her. So it's those moments of that emotional intimacy that we have.
That will help bridge that emotional
Walking up
drift,
behind your wife, wrap your arms around her, give her a nice little kiss in the neck, tell her you love her.
Yeah.
Right? Or, however that lifts you. That's sometimes all it takes in a day.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So, let's talk about one of the most powerful ways to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
The importance of shared visions and goals.
Yeah.
This is critical.
Yeah. Yeah, because when we as couples don't have a vision together, then we can drift into living just parallel lives. We're just like going down the railroad track. Nobody's crossing over. But when you dream and plan and build together, it naturally draws you closer. And I think that that's something that's important. That's something that we didn't learn to do early on. It's taken us some time to get to that place where we look at that. And then now what we're able to look at 42 years later is we can actually, sometimes I think maybe it's God opening us up to this conversation. There's times where we'll look and Randy will ask me the question, did you ever think our life would look this way? Did you ever think that this would be the way our life is? And it's interesting now because we never talked about visions together, but now we can look back at everything we have accomplished and the beautiful things that have happened and the hard things that have happened. And in those conversations, we get drawn closer together because we realize we have overcome so many things.
Yeah, and again, last week we talked about the unexpected, unspoken expectations in needs. Well, it's kind of the same thing with the visions. It's now that you've mentioned that, Cathy and I were on the same page with so much of our lives, right? I mean, like our vacations and the things we like to do. So much of it was aligned, so it did make it easy.
It did. It did definitely help
for
us,
right?
Yeah,
to do
but
that.
I think today being able to reflect back, it draws us closer because even in some of those good memories, there were seasons of struggle.
Yeah,
and we can see how far we've come. So I love that part of being able to look at not future, but even past. Not forget what we've done in the past and where we've come from.
And I know we've mentioned this before, but even though some of the things I like to do, like hunt, fish, cycling, right? Cathy doesn't necessarily like to participate in those sports, right? But what Cathy likes to do, she likes to be there.
Actually, and just be present.
She likes to be present and part of what's going on.
Quality time, love language that I have.
I'm telling you, that fulfills a lot in my heart because especially with our cycling group. Them guys, I mean, Cathy's there. Forget about Randy. I mean, everybody falls in love with Cathy. So again, it's not all about you have to like what I like. I have to
No, but you do need to come together on certain things in your marriages, and that'll help bring you closer together. So one of them is what you're going to talk about next here.
Yeah, it's like setting financial visions together. I'm looking at the wrong page. I'm like way tired for some reason this morning. This is like setting financial goals, planning future trips, serving in ministry, serving together or in ministry together, or even just agreeing on what kind of family culture you want to create. Right?
Yeah.
And Cathy and I, financial goals. We talked about a lot about that in the front, and it's just kind of. We've probably
lived life.
we live life, but we exceeded some of those goals, and some of them we fell short of. And that's just part of life. And great. One of the things we're great at is planning future trips. In fact, for many years, it was critical for both of us that every month we took 3 days and went somewhere.
Yeah.
So we were always planning those 3-day trips. And then planning our vacations, right?
And our vacations, a lot of times we would plan family vacations with all the kids, and then we'd plan mom and dad vacations. And it's interesting because our daughter is starting to implement that as well with her family. Right. And I think that shows how we can bridge that gap and come together. And it always gave us something to look forward to. So we were always working towards that next vacation or that next little getaway. Yeah,
it gives you that something to look forward to, right?
And it helps keep you connected because you got this common goal. So
and well, Cathy and I, and this will work very well for us, and I wish more people would do this. Is we have very good careers. Financially, they were good to us, right?
It was very supportive,
And we live for today. We didn't live for the future, right? We probably could have planned better for future, but we had the finances. We live for the day because, as Cathy knows and as I've experienced more than once, you can be gone in a heartbeat, and then your health, right?
It's gone.
So you got to take care of your health. Yeah. So vacations, they're good for the kids culturally, right? They're good for the couple.
Yeah. One of the things that we do even today when we're looking at setting goals and stuff, even in our quote-unquote retired life, which we're really not retired because we're doing coaching, is that we look at our calendar every Sunday night together. I probably look at it more than just Sunday night, but it's always we're talking about going over our week together. And so that is a form of bridging the gap in connection, because then there's no unanswered, well, I didn't know you were doing this. And we have found ourselves sometimes, I'm like, well, that wasn't on the calendar. I didn't know that you had that planned. But it opens up dialogue, and it keeps us connected in a way that, because we know what our plans are for the week.
So like for myself, it's really important. Cathy, like she said, every Sunday we kind of go over it, but then on a daily basis, Cathy will remind me, right?
Appointments and schedules,
stuff like that. But like with my, the hunting season's coming up, and I hunt, right? So before it even starts, I give her the dates of the season, right? And we then, as it gets closer, we'll talk more in detail about what dates I'm going to be gone, right? So that she knows, right? These are the dates I'm planning on going, so that we don't plan anything, around that. Yeah. And then we've been fortunate.
Not only do we plan it around it, it just brings us together.
Yeah, it brings us together.
That's the whole point of having those conversations, is to connect.
It's to connect. It's that
open dialogue.
Well, she's my wife. She needs to know where I'm at, right? And that's as simple as that. It doesn't get any simpler.
Yeah, so all of these things that we're talking about, they don't have to be complicated. Sit down and ask each other, what do we want in our marriage to look like in 5 years? How about 10 years? What are we working towards together? What does our week look like? Things that we're talking about right now are so important to have those conversations to bridge that gap and bring you back together and feel valued and feel heard.
Yeah, we have to feel valued and heard. It's very important. Yeah. So when we're growing in the same direction,
this is good.
Right? The sense of partnership deepens and the gap begins to close. Right?
So good.
We're on the same railroad track going the same direction. I might be ahead of Cathy for some time, right? But she's still chugging along doing her stuff. And then she passes me up. That's life. Mm-hmm. As long as you communicate, as long as you're going in the same direction.
And you're bringing each other into what's going on. Everything. Your heart, your mind, your business, your kids. It's all about connecting.
No secrets.
Yeah, it's about connecting.
No secrets in your marriage. It's very important.
Yeah, no. Right? So I love, we're talking about connection and being together, and it reminds me of Ecclesiastes 4:9, and it says that two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. And that just reminds me, we're a team. We're in life together. When we set our vows, we committed that day to each other. And so I personally am grateful to have someone in my life, and it's so much better to have someone in your life to do that with. So if you're feeling disconnected, if you're feeling like you're drifting apart, take some time, do some self-reflection, and utilize these tools that we're talking about here, because just because you've drifted apart, you feel like roommates, doesn't mean it has to stay that way. You have a choice to change that.
All I can say is that for us, and I've always said this, that if there's angels on earth, Cathy was one. And to this day, I'm not putting her on a pedestal, but to this day, I believe that. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for the love of Cathy, right, mm-hmm. I probably wouldn't be here, right? Because she was supporting me. Yeah, she went through hell and back with me. Mm-hmm. And that's what actually pulled my head out of my butt, is when God spoke to me one day and said, Randy, that woman went to hell and back with you. She never left your side. She supported everything you did. And it woke me up. And then when I got on my recovery, she was there with me the whole time, mm-hmm. side by side, watching me shake and rattle when I was detoxing, right? But having her there, having that partner, right, to walk with me, those two people, I couldn't have done it by myself. Yeah. I don't know that I would be here. So I understand a lot of couples when it comes to this particular subject, they're not going to make it through this, right? That part. Some of them don't. A lot of them don't, as a matter of fact. Yeah. And I am very blessed that God gave me Cathy to help me through that time, because she didn't have to stay. Right. She made that choice. So we do understand that there's a situation where that's just not going to happen. Right. Right. We don't want to see it happen. No. We believe that we can work anything out between two people as long as they're both willing and want to do it. Okay. Absolutely. So when two people walk in unity, mm-hmm. right, their efforts multiply. Yeah. Right. And there's Cathy and I experienced that. Right. It's not just about sharing the workload. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's about sharing purpose, dreams, and even struggles. The struggles. We can't forget about the struggle. Mm-hmm. Through thickness, through thin, good and bad, sickness and death, right? Yeah. We got to get through it. It's a covenant we made with each other, but more important, it's a covenant we made with God. Yeah. God designed marriage to be a partnership where both thrive. Yeah, that's good. So it's a yin and a yang. Yep. I'm down, she pulls me up. And sometimes it can be tiring, but we have to stay the course. Right now. And one thing that I'm just going to add to this whole thing is, even if you've drifted apart, you feel like you've drifted apart, God specializes in restoration. Mm-hmm. We can testify to that. 100%. Most of you know our story. Yeah. So with His help, reconnection is always possible. Yeah. It's always possible. Yeah, there's so much. There's so much to our story that a lot of people don't know. Yeah. And Cathy has just been, in so many ways. Yeah. Restoration is possible. Is very much, but it's very possible. Yeah. But both partners, both couples, both spouses, got to really want the marriage to work. Yeah, that's good. And they got to be willing to do whatever work it takes to restore that marriage. Right. And it can be restored 100%. Yeah. So as we close today, Randy, what can you give our listeners as a takeaway? So here's some takeaways. Emotional distance is normal. Yep. Okay, it's normal. It's going to happen. But reconnection is always possible when intentionality leads the way. Yeah. Yeah. But we have to be intentional about our efforts. Yeah. You can't have one foot in and one foot out.
Nope.
It's all in or nothing.
Yeah. So in order to do that, we just got to start small. It's those baby steps we talk about. We need to recognize the signs of a drift. We need to add in 1 or 2 daily habits of connection, which we've talked and given you some ideas. And we need to talk about our shared visions. These are all important things. So don't wait till that gap feels overwhelming. Sometimes that gap might feel overwhelming and you feel like you can't get back to where you want to be. So recognize these things early. Recognize the drift. Add 2 or 3 daily habits of connection each day. And then talk about your shared vision goals so you don't get overwhelmed.
And here's what's really important on the shared vision goals. Neither partner or spouse can be so set and so hard. I'm not budging. I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. We can't do that.
No,
right?
We've got to have compromise there.
You've got to have compromise. It's like, you've heard me say it before. There's times I have to compromise with Cathy for something she wants to do that I really don't want to do. But as graceful as she's been with me and the things I do, okay, I'll do it. I got it, right?
That's good.
So don't be so set in your ways that, I ain't doing it.
Nope.
That's why we talk about the vision, so we can talk it out with each other and find the balance.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really
good. So we encourage you this week to schedule a simple connection check-in. Ask each other how you're really doing and get to the heart of the matter. Be super, super honest. And as your partner says something to you that might sting you, do not put that person down. Just say, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay? And one thing you can do to move closer to each other again.
Yeah.
Okay? So ask each other how you're really doing, what you've missed, and one thing you can move closer again.
Yeah,
okay?
that's good.
Move closer again. We put together a connection check-in guide to help you see when you are drifting. And for a free copy of the connection check-in guide, email us at healingrestorecounseling@gmail.com. On the subject line, type connection check-in. And we will send that right off to you.
Yeah, we'll get it off to you right away. That's no problem. So we just want to thank you for joining us today. I know sometimes these episodes can be painful, but they can also be enlightening when we have an open mind. So if this episode encouraged you, please subscribe. Leave us a review, whatever platform you might be listening on or watching us on. Leave us a review and make sure you share it with another couple who might benefit from that and bring hope into their relationship as well. Because you know what? We've all experienced these things. We're not alone. And the more we can share our experiences with others and the more we can share information with others, the more valuable we become as individuals and more valuable our relationships become as a result of that.
So remember, gaps are normal, right? But with love, faith, and intentional effort, you can always bridge them.
Bridge those gaps, people.
Always bridge the gaps.
Yeah, that's great.
Don't let that gap get bigger. Close it up as quick as you can.
Yeah, that's great.
So thanks for joining us today. Another good one.
Yeah, it was great.
I hope you get a lot out of this. Yeah. So remember this. If nobody tells you they love you today, Randy does.
Cathy does.
But more importantly, God does. Be blessed, everybody. Have a fabulous week.
Have a great week.